Shalom, family. Shabbat shalom. This is your brother, your Hebrew brother. Like my coworker be saying, my Hebrew brother, Israelite Hebrew Israelite. 12 sons of Jacob. This is brother Bazi. I just want to get some motivation as I'm reading the book of Ezekiel. Um, I just wanted to say something, so I just went live so I could say it for the world. Whoever he that hath an ear, let him hear. We're just going to start in chapter 2 and read a couple of verses, and then just to get a context and get the point in chapter 3, and then we'll be up out of here. It's Ezekiel 2, and I'll start at 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me. When he spake unto me, and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel. So this is what stuck out to me, because all of the prophets up until this point, they all pretty much had the same message and the same task, and that resonates with my spirit because it has an effect every time I read it. It feels like it's speaking to me, and I know men out there would, you know, have the same sentiments. And I'll read on. I'll read from the top of verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even until this very day. For they are an impudent children and stiff-hearted. So I don't mean this to be like pointing the finger. I'm guilty of this, very much so. So I hold myself accountable. And as far as being a part of the nation, I think we should all do the same. This is just acknowledging our forefathers' sin, but remember the days of old, going back to Adam, just knowing that we're tasked with managing this earth, taking on that responsibility. It starts with accountability first. And so the Most High knew this is a nation that they're too far gone. They've gone astray. Um, and I don't want to get too deep in it, but it's just like the Most High knew what He created. So He's saying He's trying to prepare Ezekiel at this time. Like, hey, I'm gonna send you out there. Don't get discouraged, bro. They go off, So don't don't be afraid of it because it's intimidating when you're going against the crowd. It's intimidating. It's intimidating feeling alone, knowing that you're not alone. That's what true faith is. That's what you move in this walk, standing for righteousness. But knowing that it's a daunting test. It's like you get built up. When you first, it's like a lion. The Most High said we're like babes when we come into this truth. But when you have a lion that has a baby lion, like a baby male, that lion thinks I could take on the world, but it needs to be sheltered, it needs to be nurtured and shown the way. And so that's what these precepts do is build us up. And that's what the Most High is essentially doing with Ezekiel. He's showing them a lot of stuff. He's roughing them up. He's scaring them, but at the same time, he letting them know, like, hey, don't get thrown off. Let's just read it. He says, verse 4 again, for they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord God. So whatever the Most High wrote, the same thing that he was saying to Moses to know everything, the same thing that he's saying to us, he's tasking us to say it to them. Because he ain't going, like, they're not gonna go read it for themselves, but we have to be that voice. So it says, and they, verse 5, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, whether they do hear or whether they don't hear, whether they look at you and acknowledge you and make you feel good, or whether your pride is really hurt because they like, I don't want to get too vulgar, but I want children to watch this. So whether they mess with you or not, are, whether they like you or not, that's what that means. And verse 5 again, and they, whether they hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. And you can read on in verse in chapter 2, Salakia, and you'll see that's the encouragement. They're not going to listen to you. They don't care what you got to say. They don't care what you're talking about. Everybody is doing these trends, these challenges, these viral moments. These everybody's on this wave, and you're going to be the only one saying, "Hey, look at this light. Look at this order. Look at this. Look at this substance that we can have as a people. We could take our culture back. Us brown skinned folks, even though we are all shades, but we have a culture. We have a leadership, guidance. Everything is set out, literally blueprinted right here in the book. But once you go against the norm, which is the ways of the world, which is that wide gate, once you standing on that straight and narrow, it's hard to see you and it's hard to get your voice heard. So it will get discouraging. And it's for this nation that we're speaking to, it's stiff necked. They don't care. It's already hard, the task at hand, but then you don't get support back. So you have to encourage yourself knowing that these prophets did the same thing. So it don't really hit the same as far as that discouraging doesn't hit the same. It lets you know, oh yeah, this is real. Because why don't people love order? Why do people love confusion? It got to be this. So let's go to verse. I'll just jump down to verse 7. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that what I give thee. So don't worry about what they got going on. Do this. Like Brody Gaines said, do these. Right? Verse 9. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and there was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mournings and woes. So the same things that we're reading that our forefathers went through, that's what we're reading. That's what this book, we read it, and we already know that the task is that we have to do the same things that they did. So expect it, right? So the point is in verse 3, I mean, it's chapter 3, Salakia. It says, actually, yeah, let's jump down to verse 3. It says, I'll start at verse 1. I'm gonna just slow it down. It's not gonna be a fast lie. I always try to do a fast something and it doesn't, because I like to be thorough with my speech. So I don't want to miss a point and I don't want to rush. We're just gonna get through this real quick. Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat thou that thou findest. Eat that thou findest. Salakia. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. It's the roll, right? And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey for sweetness. Salaki. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee into the house of Israel and speak my words unto them. So we speak these words unto them, right? For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. So it's saying you're not sent to, other nations, Chinese people, Asians, or whatever. You're not sent to the people that don't speak like you. Even like Israelites in different nations, we invent like dialect, slang, things like that, like the salt of the earth. Matter of fact, I want to get that. That's part of this breakdown. Let's get that. So Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13, it says, Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thence good for nothing, but is to be cast out and be trodden under foot of men. So the point of that is we are the salt of the earth. The salt means we make everything better. We take a language and then we turn it into slang. So that's what the Most High is saying. He's saying it ain't like the people don't know what you're saying. They know what you're saying. They just don't mess with it. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. That's the thing that we have to understand, knowing that we're standing firm for this. We're redirecting the course of history, and that's a hard pull. If you're driving, I said driving, but if you navigate or operate a boat or a ship, you gotta turn that thing, or a plane, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the wide, um, you're turning a big thing on a big surface. So it takes a lot of force and power and consistency. Determination takes a lot. So that's what the Most High is saying right here. It's saying that you're not sent to the people that don't understand you. They understand you. Um, verse 6, not too many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou cannot understand. Surely, had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. So the Most High really just talking junk right there. He just saying like, if he would have went to anywhere else, if he would have went to a nation anywhere, if he would have went to any other nation, they would have accepted you as a prophet, as saying that the Most High loves only this nation. Those people would have been like, yeah, and rocking with the Most High. But Israel is the only nation that don't want to be God's favorite. So it's that's what that's saying. Verse 7, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard hearted. Just meaning stiff necked, and stiff neck just means hard headed. But we're off that. Now let's go to Matthew 5, and then we'll wrap this up in Matthew 13. Um, so actually I wanted to get one more. Yeah, actually, let's stay in Ezekiel 3. I know I'm all over the place right now. I'm just feeling sped up because I know people's attention span is short. I wanted to get verse chapter 3 of Ezekiel and verse. Hmm, I'll just keep reading. Verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces. Meaning, literally, we made it in the same image. So you got a whole bunch of theories around, and what are they called? When you have like I just had a head injury recently, so I have a hard time coming up with words. And I used to be very articulate, so it's kind of strained. But y'all pray for me. My memory will come back. Um, it's right there too. I know y'all know what this is. If this was live, if I mean it is live, but if it was people actually here, stereotypes. They have stereotypes and like stipulations around people, our people. When you label us, you see me with the hat to the back, or if I had a certain color on, I would be labeled a thug just by just what I look like with thugs. But I can't help that. This my people, and we look alike. So that's what the Most High is saying. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces. Not meaning we gotta fight. It just means we look the same. So if y'all looking at me, if y'all hating me, y'all hating yourself pretty much. But they don't realize that. But it's us against them. We're saying righteousness, and they're not realizing that we're showing them love. So it looks like a battle, but it's really like a Have you ever seen rams? Like rams on the mountain, they'll just boom, 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 and they just throwing whatever they standing on. Whoever the most solid is gonna win. They go back to being brothers at the end of the day. They not enemies. They standing on whatever they standing on. So you just got to be built up enough to where you can combat that. However they standing on whatever they standing on for their gang, for their city, for the military, for whatever, for their country, whatever they're standing on, you want to be able to stand on this as hard as that to be able to make your head as hard as their head. Not in a sense of hard headedness, but as the scriptures say. I'll read it again. Behold, verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their forehead. As an adamant harder than a flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not. Right? So we don't. I ain't never been afraid of no. I grew up in the hood. You feel me? Like I ain't never been afraid of no thugs, but I've been hearing like Christianity and people in different religions. They'll be like, oh, y'all got thugs. Israelites, y'all got thugs. It's like, bro, nigga, you mean us? Um. So it says, as an adamant, verse 9, as adamant harder than a flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks. So that part is really the part that stuck out to me. Neither be dismayed at their looks, because That's what throw people off. As soon as they realize they not being accepted, it hasn't been me, but I know that's what throw people off. They want to be accepted. They'll like try to and that's different than seasoning your words with seasoning your speech with salt to try to like bring people in gracefully. That's a difference. But when you know that you're not being received, and then you just kind of back off of what you're saying, or don't say nothing. And I've been guilty of this. And that's why I'm really bringing it out, because it's like this really happens, and this is a real thing. So I just wanted to motivate people because I got cut, you know. And it says, um, need to be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, verse 10, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears, and go get thee to them of thy captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, Thus saith the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether that they will forbid. So that means, like, I say, for instance, I got dudes at my job. They hella cool. Everybody cool because we all are Israel. And I don't, especially at the job, we just working. So if I see them on the corner, I'm getting on them. But the thing is, like, say on a break or something, I don't know they go. I live out in Cali, so I know they go out and smoke. It's legal out here. Nobody really cares. But I have to be the one to say that. And I used to when I first. I've been there for like 3 years now. And when I first started working, I used to be like, "Hey, y'all know," because they see me with the fringes. So I'll be like, "Hey, y'all know that's not, you know, y'all don't need to smoke. Y'all could just, you could eat it. To be honest, just being grown about it. But you don't have to ingest it with smoking. Like that's an actual sin. That's just something that I could see. So I didn't really feel comfortable just, continuing to say that. But that's what I'm saying. That's how that scripture cut me. Don't be dismayed about being comfortable, nigga. Who cares? It's either they receive it from me because the Most High gave it to them for them to know, for them to preserve their body and to be that righteous example. And if they hear or forbear, whatever, I got to be that example. And that's why in Matthew it says, chapter 5 and verse 14. We were at 13. Let's go to 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. So that's meaning like you carrying that torch to be that beacon of you were the light, as the scripture said, to be that example, like the Most High said, to follow after Christ's example, to be that example to the nation. You know, it doesn't matter what people perceive you as when you're just trying to help them. Just say what you got to say, get out the way. Some things, it's a time and place for everything, but I noticed that I just started to say it less. And you know, and I low key didn't care more. I stopped caring as much. And before it was like, I'm looking at them like, y'all are so high, you can't even do your job. And I got it's a physical job. I'm like, y'all asking me simple questions, but it's because you're so high, you don't realize it's a easy. And y'all looking at me like I'm so smart. It's like, no, I'm just sober. You can be sober. This is a job. I stopped getting on them as much, and I stopped caring as much, and that just made me feel lukewarm, you know. So I just wanted to share it here because I'm like, I got cut. I'm gonna share it with the world. I'm gonna share it with my family, of course. But this is just something I just wanted to start doing to try to help out the nation and put my little brick in. A couple closing precepts. Let's go to First Peter chapter 4, and let me get something real quick, Matthew. Let's go to chapter 13. And this is the reason I'm saying this, right? Because the scriptures liken once you come into the truth. Now, this is really for Israel who found out that they're in the truth, specifically men, to be the teachers, the examples out here. Men, women, and children are all their examples. We're all their examples, but the men are to be the leaders, the guiders, the correctors. So this is more for the men that know that you're Israel. It's a motivation. just to stay in the spirit and don't, lose that fire to help your people. A lot of people will look at it as like you just being extra and you ain't got to do a super brute. Nah, you just really love your people and you trying to get them that extra word before the Most High give it to them, whether they hear, whether they forbear. Your hands, because when you read on Ezekiel, that said that hand was gonna be, that blow was gonna be required at your hands. So take that how you want it. Matthew chapter 13, and let's just read verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came up and devoured them. So this whole thing, 13:3 all down to really 19:20, something like that. Is speaking on Yahweh Shai, comparing. He spoke to them in parables, just said it. So he's making it seem as if once you learn this truth, you give it out. You spread it like seeds. You give out knowledge. Um, Now let's show you why. Let's get Proverbs chapter 7. All right, and verse 12. It says, is it 7? Hold on, Salakia. Oh, it's Ecclesiastes. I'm like, what the hell? Ecclesiastes. I said Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life them that have it. Right? So you want to give life. You want to give wisdom. Why? Because it's charity. You're doing that, and that's the last precept. That's what we're going to do. We're living our life through charity because we don't deserve it. We don't deserve this knowledge. We don't deserve the understanding. We don't deserve anything, even to be here. But the fact that we're here, we have to cherish it and give it freely as it was given. So we live our life through, giving, and giving. The best thing you can give is wisdom, is charity. That charity of giving wisdom is what I'm saying. Is you just giving everything that you have only because you never know who may need it. Two, this is why. First Peter 4:8. And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins. So if you really care about you, your family, your salvation's sake, cover your multitude of sins. Give out that charity, give out that wisdom, save your nation, help your nation, love your people. And with that, Shabbat Shalom, Yahabashim Yahshabrak the thumb to all who tune in. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.